At dinner with my wife's friends, one of them asked how we met. She laughed and said he basically begged me to date him. Just look at him, desperate, average, and lucky I was bored. They all laughed. I didn't. She kept going. It's funny how one night, one single conversation, can shatter 5 years of your life. I mean, truly shatter it like a glass dropped on concrete. Last night, at a tea dinner with my wife's friends, one of them innocently asked how we met. And then Malia, my wife, she basically said I begged her to date me. She looked at me, right there at the table, and said, look at him. Desperate. Average. Lucky I was bored. They all laughed. I didn't. And then she just kept going. Honestly, I'm only still with him because I don't have time to train someone hotter. Her best friend, Zara, chimed in with a damn girl. And then Malia looked at her, then back at me, and added, let's be real, no one else wants him. I stood up, picked up my drink, and poured it over her head. Then I left without a single word. That was last night. And later, I made a decision she never, ever saw coming. Today, she's blowing up my phone with nonstop messages. The music was loud, the lights were dim, and the whole place buzzed with that kind of forced energy people pretend they thrive on. We were at one of those trendy spots Malia loved, velvet banquettes, plates that looked more like art projects than meals, and servers who called everyone babe. It wasn't my kind of place, never had been. But she loved it, and I showed up. That was always my role, showing up. Quiet, present, supportive, the background husband. That's how she liked me. Not that she ever said it directly, but it was written between every dismissive smile and every hand wave when I tried to speak up around her friends. Malia sat across from me, glowing like she always did under ambient lighting, her hand casually curled around a stemless wine glass. Zara was to her right, her voice already dominating the table like a trumpet in a jazz band, brash, booming, and hard to ignore. Priya was on her left, with that smug little smirk she always wore, like life had confirmed to her she was always right. I sat next to Zara, mostly because it was the only seat left, and also because I learned long ago not to fight the seating arrangements at these dinners. My role was to smile and nod, maybe laugh in the right places. It was somewhere between the calamari and the second round of drinks when Priya leaned in and tilted her head toward me, curiosity faint in her eyes, like she didn't already know the answer. How did you two meet? She asked. It was a harmless question, one of those icebreakers you throw around when the conversation stalls. And it was the kind of question I was used to answering, because the Rael story was a good one, sweet actually. But before I could open my mouth, Malia cut in. She smirked. Not a warm, loving smirk. The kind people use right before they humiliate someone. He basically begged me to date him, she said, laughing like it was some inside joke. Zara immediately burst out laughing. Priya grinned, already entertained. I stayed still, just watched her. Malia didn't stop there. Look at him, she continued, gesturing toward me with her wine glass like I was part of the decor. Desperate. Average. Lucky I was bored, right? Zara let out another loud cackle and slapped the table. Girl, stop, she said. But she didn't mean it. They never meant it. I forced a smile, not because I thought it was funny, but because that's what I trained myself to do in moments like this. Pretend. Shrink. But Malia wasn't done. Honestly, she said, setting her glass down, I'm only still with him because I don't have time to train someone hotter. That got them howling. The entire table shook with their laughter while I sat there, barely touching my drink, wondering at what point in our marriage this became okay. I stared down at my plate, but even the food seemed embarrassed to be part of this moment. I felt something in me coil. Not explode. Just coil. Quietly. Tightly. She didn't notice. Or maybe she didn't care. Then came the final blow. The one she knew would land. Let's be real, Malia said, her voice dipping low with mock sincerity. No one else wants him. The words sat on the table like a slap. Not loud, full story on channel, link below. Watch what happened next.